could please give one giant outlaw round of applause for the cast of Red Dead. For those of you from Tombstone, welcome back.
Seems like a fair fight.
It does. We got enough of you guys this time. How many of you guys here are first timers to the convention? Is this your first time at a convention event?
They're an easy audience, guys.
Let's get set.
Should I let the rat sit next to me?
Guys, I don't know why. Forgive me for speaking out of turn, but you know, we know you're all driving a long way, and a lot of you are spending a lot of money, and we would just from the bottom of our hearts, we want to say thank you.
Thank you!
We literally would not be here without you, and I can't believe that you appreciate our work. Thank you.
Well, welcome to Deadwood, y'all. How many of y'all's first time in South Dakota? Wow. All right, yeah, me too. How's Deadwood been treating you? Everything?
Love it. Fantastic.
You guys been steeped in the Western history? You found yourselves any outlaws out there on the streets? Seen a few wild bills out there, that's for sure. You guys been out to Mount Rushmore? Cool. We did the train yesterday, but anybody else hit the 1880? Great time. Deadwood was great.
I can't believe we got robbed. It was so weird because they kept talking about the lockbox before it happened. They kept mentioning, why you keep mentioning the lockbox? And then lo and behold, oh my God, they got robbed.
For those of you it's your first time coming out to any of the Red Dead conventions, how's your experience been? Have you guys been interacting with the fans a lot? It's been a good time?
It's been fantastic,
Yeah, it's like nothing I've ever experienced. You know, to be face to face with the fans is like the kindness and generosity, and then this crew has just been incredible. It's really heartwarming.
That's right.
So here, we're so glad you're here. This game's been out for a while. What was the moment that you realized that this was going to be something like this big? What was the first moment for you where you realized?
When I signed up.
Yeah.
When the game made $1 billion in the first weekend, that's when I
Yeah, give Pearson a mic.
I don't want a mic.
No!
As the kids say, let him cook.
Ben! No. Hey, by the way, it's Ben and Maya's birthday, so do that.
Meeya.
Yeah.
My friend Micah. Give it up for Micah.
My name is Meeya.
Give it up for Meeya.
Hey, should we sing happy birthday before we move on? Joe, give us a
He's got some gifts for us too. Pearson's got some stew packets that we're going to be picking up later. Maybe we got stew coming out. So this was it was a huge feat of effort. This thing has over 500,000 lines of dialogue. I don't know if anybody knew that. 500,000. One of the biggest, most incredible feats of both physical and vocal acting ever. Was there like any major mishaps physically? Did anybody fall off a truck, climb a ladder? Were there anything like that happened for you guys behind the
I got thrown to
scenes?
some damn alligators.
No other injuries besides losing your head to the gators?
My first day, there was a scene where Sean gets the shite kicked out of him as you're about to rescue him.
Yeah.
And they had like a nice little pad that wrestlers kind of use, I suppose, or boxers use. I had it against my chest as they were kicking. And I was giving it back to them, like, come on, your mother kicks harder than that, your granny kicks harder than that. Come on, give it to me, baby. Well, come on.
These boots were made of
I
what?
thought the scene was over and I put the fucking thing away and I got a boot right to the chest. And that was my first day on the job and I kind of shut up after that. Believe it or not.
Surprisingly lucky. Yeah. There weren't many injuries. You know, Rockstar, they really looked after us. For a 5-year project,
Yeah.
surprisingly few injuries. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I think that some of the biggest, I guess, issues were probably in the bathroom more than anything.
Every time we went to the bathroom, we would have to do what was called a re-rom. So our mocap suits would still be able to be read by the sensors. So that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
We always knew how regular everyone was.
Getting the horses in and out of the re-rom suits was a real joy.
One dog, we had one of our wonderful animators, a fellow named Jason, and his dog is Kane, I think.
Yeah. Einstein.
And,
Just passed away.
poor slave man. But I remember that dog, he would wag his tail so hard that sometimes the balls would fly off. He loved doing, he was such a great dog. His balls would fly off. His balls would fly off. Mocap balls.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, he gets so excited to perform, my balls will fly right off.
This is mocap balls.
I just wanted to say thank you to the ladies here in the cast. I think out of any of the video games that I have played in the 20, 30 years I've been playing, this is one of the strongest female casts. I mean, you guys have a deep bench. I mean, every single one of you has been the father of the little girl, it's a privilege to be able to see strong women in media, so thank you for that.
I have picked up the mic because that, to me, has been really the biggest, well, the twofold privilege. One, meeting and working with these actresses. I mean, every scene that I got to do with Penny O'Brien over here was just fire. Meeya and I developed this, like, just real deep friendship with our work together. Sam and I always found exactly the right balance. Joe and I had all that just like power fun because she would always just give it to me. And then being in a room with Alex Mckenna is like, I mean, she just brings it every single time. And then we have Sophia, who I got to work with some, and just incredible, beautiful actress. And so what we got to do there as fully fledged members of a gang, not feeling hypersexualized, not feeling like we were pushed off to a corner, being women, getting to be members of this powerful gang, and we all had real value, was such a privilege. But beyond that, the women that I have met amongst you, that is incredible. You guys come out and you explain what this game has meant to you. You play it when your children are asleep. You play it with your friends. You bring your whole self to it. And it's really not what I was expecting when I was in my 40s and got cast in a video game. I wasn't expecting all of these women.
I know that when it comes to bringing those characters to life, I know it's not really acting until you get to react with another person. Were there any specific emotionally impactful moments that you remember that you think about often? Maybe that you would go back and relive again.
Yes.
I mean, speaking of amazing women here, like working with Kaili, I remember having a moment as a pretty young actor at the time, just like not really knowing what I was getting into, had never worked in a video game before or had any lessons in how to act in a video game. And it was probably like the second or third time that I came on and working against her. I think we were just having like a basic ass conversation, and I was like, oh, I gotta level up, because she's killing it. And we're just talking about getting to the camp or whatever, and I was like, man, I am impressed. And that kind of carried on through every interaction. I mean, working opposite Ben, obviously, big, like, what a hunk. But similarly, I remember, it was actually the first day I think we worked together, and I, as I said, no experience in the video game world, didn't even really know what I was getting myself into. I was kind of standing on the stage doing this, because that's what I thought we were supposed to do. and Ben comes over to me and he goes, you know, you can just like stand there. And from there I was like, I'll be taking his advice from here on out.
Right. The secret to acting, just stand there.
Perfect. So yeah, just some of that.
I know that you obviously through this event and millions of others, you've had a chance to interact with the fans. Have there been any like surprising interactions that you've heard from the community, takes on your characters that you never really thought about? Have there been anything that kind of gave you pause about your performance or your place in the game at all?
I don't know. There was some guy, and I don't even know if he's here, but he had a Leopold Strauss Instagram account for a year, and every day he would post like Leopold Strauss at Christmas or Leopold Strauss at Christmas. And I would get it every day. I think this is like the coolest thing. But I think after about a year he ran out of ideas. So.
Who are we taking money from today? That's his Instagram line. We've got a lot of the big antagonists in the house. We've got Angelo Bronte, obviously. Mr. Dobell, I hate you know them, obviously big bad guys. But the true villain, as we can all see, Leopold Strauss, the man who actually killed Arthur Morgan. I had to give you a hard time on that one, Howard, I'm sorry. So, with all the people I've talked to in film and television, a lot of people kind of abscond from the sets or the role with a little piece of memorabilia. What do you guys have from Red Dead that you kind of keep on a shelf in the house?
I got my boots.
Got your
They're the same boots I wore every day. They were lariats, and they still have their little mocap balls on them. And the funny thing is like when we were wrapping it, coming close to an end, we didn't know exactly which day was going to be the end, but like a couple of weeks beforehand, I spoke to our wonderful director, Rob, and I said, is there any way I can keep these boots? And he's like, oh, I'll look into that. Yeah, no worries. I have to confess, I didn't ask. I didn't wait for permission. I just kind of took them. I brought them home. Because nobody else was wearing them. They were mine, you know? And then like a week or two later, Rod calls me up. And he says, Raj, I'm so sorry. We can't find those boots anywhere. I was like, oh my God, you know, that's okay, it's okay, never mind. I was a dirty little thief.
I didn't steal anything. Not like Roger. But I do have, I think a lot of people have it, but the outlaw blanket. I really, really like it. I use it for picnics and things. That's it.
Is there a store where I get an outlaw blanket?
Did the people not get that?
Because when the game launched, Rockstar generously sent us all this incredible care package with all of this amazing memorabilia and collectibles and Red Dead stuff, and we each got a game, and it was pretty crazy, and the blanket was in there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I've had the privilege of getting to spend a little time with you guys, and you've all been so uplifting and helpful to one another and kind. Can you explain maybe the role of mentorship and that kind of thing that it's in your career? Is there anybody who has kind of like spurred you on that's not here, that's kind of, that would you would say is responsible for where you're at?
There. Yeah, the short answer is just my drama teacher in 5th grade. That was the person who took me under his wing, and that I think without his guidance for the next few years, I wouldn't have been maybe as interested in pursuing this kind of an ordeal. So, shout out to my old teacher, Tom Hay. Also, curses on you!
There were a lot of people, I mean, I think this is the biggest reunion that we've ever had.
Yes.
But, I mean, what you see up here is really just a piece of the pie. It was literally took a village. There were thousands of amazing animators, engineers, writers, directors, and they all are just as, if not a more important part to bring this thing to you. So yeah, there was a lot of great people that we worked with, man.
I would also add, I think for me anyway, I know for a lot of people up here too, our families, the families at home, like they're the ones who are at home when we come home and have to leave our characters at the door, and you know, this job, there's a lot of emotion to it, so you know, you're coming home with all sorts of feelings, so big shout out to our wives and our husbands and our families and all the people who support us. That's the reason why we get to do this too. Meeya, right?
Oh, yeah, Maya! No, I did this game, I don't know how many years. I was working on it for like a year, and I didn't know what it was. Until Steven told me to sit down and he played a YouTube video of Red Dead. So I want to thank you for showing me what the hell I was in. It really made a difference, I swear to God it made a difference. Like I don't think I was doing what I was supposed to be doing until I watched what I was in. So, give it up for Steven.
I know a lot of you guys have been extremely busy outside of here. What are some passion projects that this game has given you the freedom to pursue? What are you guys working on that we can support you in here?
Roger and I just did a film together, and it is just hitting the festival circuit. It's a short film called Damn Handy. It's a horror short, and I gotta say, this guy brings it. So, I don't tell him, he's one of the producers, so you tell him how they can find him.
Oh, well, it's going to be out on, once it does, as Kaili said, once the festival circuit is done, we're going to have it out on YouTube and whatnot. We hope you enjoy it. Kaili kills it as well. She's insane. But insanely good. And we hope you enjoy it. If it comes to a festival nearby you, you're more than welcome, but if you wait or hang around a while, it'll come out on YouTube too. We hope you enjoy it.
There's also another pairing. A couple of years ago, I started and produced a film that was made in Ireland. A lot of you fans from out there were Kickstarter backers of it, called Lulu and the Electric Dreamboat. And as of middle of March, we were signed to a sales agent. Also in this film is Rob Wiethoff. He has a surprise cameo that's the most hysterical thing. It's my favorite part of the entire film. So we're still technically in the festival circuit. We won Best International Film back in December at the LA Punk Film Fest. And right now we're just, we're waiting to hear, we got offers out, so it's gonna end up somewhere. So just hang tight. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll let you know. But for those of you out there who are the Kickstarter backers, your rewards are coming. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I have August 9th, Borderlands is coming. I hope you will all come support. It's a different kind of a video game story, but it is a hell of an ensemble, and I think you'll have a lot of fun. It's a hell of a movie.
We got John Hickok in the house who played Agent Melton. This is his first time being out here at the convention.
And I think he should leave now.
The game obviously explores a lot of topics and themes about morality. So is Milton a good guy or a bad guy?
You tell me. I kept asking the director that, and he would not give me an answer either way. He said he's doing his job. Because I couldn't tell from the dialogue, you know? He was obviously seriously committed to reining these guys in, but not necessarily with a lot of malice. Some scenes have more malice than others, and I think, you know, as I've talked to a bunch of folks today, that's one of the things people like about the game. You know, the gang isn't all good or all bad, and Milton isn't all good or all bad. So I think that's actually a better way to look at it. It's more fun.
We have the Red Dead Godfather in the house, Mr. Bob Bogue, who was our very own Red Harlow. How does it feel being a part of this gigantic thing that started, how many, 20 years ago?
Oh yeah, here's a microphone.
How does it feel? Wow, I feel like someone's like taking me off the top shelf, blew some air on me, got the dust off of me, and shoved me under some lights. It was fantastic. I mean, when Ken called me last year, I thought it was a prank, so I never returned his call. and then he left another message. I was like, this guy's for real. So I called him up. I was like, what? What do you want from me? He's like, dude, you're the OG. You got to come. I'm like, nobody's ever called me before. Are you serious? He goes, yeah, I'll send you an airline ticket. Dude, you got to come. He was so enthusiastic. I was like, are you pranking me? Did my mom put this up, put you up to that? So anyway, long story short, he was for real. He put together a great event in Tombstone, and I was so honored because it was a long time ago, and nobody really had ever called. And so it was nice to be appreciated as the OG. So, and it's great to come back. So, thank you. And thank you for your love and enthusiasm, because I just kind of thought it was just floated away in the ether, and it's really nice to hear that it's had an impact on several of you, and that you like that it might be old and clunky, but you still respect it and enjoy it. So, thank you.
We got Albert Mason in the house. As a fellow photographer, I want to say thank you for your contributions to wildlife photography. Can you tell us a little bit about your time working with Roger?
Yeah, well, that's a great question because this addresses a question I asked earlier about inspirations and mentors. So I came in about a year or so into the project as a side mission. That's why I'm sitting all the way on the side. And Roger set the tone. I mean, he'd been there a minute. He sort of showed me the ropes. I had done GTA 5, but they didn't tell me it was GTA 5, and then I found out I was in GTA 5 when I was watching my friends play GTA 5. That's awesome. But this was like a big leap in the technology of it. And so Roger helped me get my sea legs. I remember those boots. A year in, they did not smell good, I can tell you that. But his spirit and his sort of, he was the patriarch of this thing, as far as I could tell. And the reason our relationship is even successful and why the fans have taken on this sort of a side story that there's a bareback mountain romance between the two of us. What a kind, loving soul, and what a supportive, awesome guy Roger Clark is. So I don't know if the rest of the people have my experience, but he was the one that really, I think, sets the tone for the entire experience. And getting back to who's good, who's bad, like what I love about this game is that you are in control of the game. You decide who's good and who's bad and how it's going to go, and that can change day to day, just like the rest of us do. And I'm just eternally grateful to be here, to be a part of this gang, even on the side, and it's just awesome. I love all you guys, and I love all you guys.
Yeah. Art imitates life. Tell about the experience from last night at the bar.
What experience?
With the dog.
He remembers.
You remember now.
When I was taking a picture of it,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, okay.
What?
We're at Saloon 10. Yes, we're at Saloon 10, and I've never seen this before in my life, and I've seen some things. And there's a fucking dog at the bar, on a bar stool, licking water out of a bowl on the bar. And so of course, I have to get a picture of this, and next thing I know, I'm down in the Albert Mason pose with the freaking iPhone. Take a picture of me, take a picture of the dog, and there it was, look at it, it's Albert Mason again. Yeah, that's what it was. Taking wildlife pictures in the bar in South Dakota, the dog at the bar. We'll find those pictures, we'll post them on Instagram. I promise.
Alrighty, I have a small request, a little game I wanted to play with our two gunslingers here, Rob and Roger. If I could get you guys up here on the front of the stage with two chairs.
One of these guns is good.
Only one of you will live.
Some of you may have played this game before at a party. So on either side of this, you will find a picture of John Marston or Arthur Morgan. I'm going to ask you a series of rapid-fire questions, and you are going to hold up your answer to that question. You ready? Now, feel free to answer that as Rob or Roger, not necessarily John or Arthur.
Swim.
Who is the better swimmer? That's the okay.
Oh, sorry, was that one of your questions?
All right, who is the better shot?
Oh, they're both equal.
Who is more likely to get in trouble with the law? Who is more likely to get dumped in the wash barrel by Miss Grimshaw?
Why is he paired?
Who would win in a bar fight?
Tommy.
Who is the better cook? Yeah. Good question.
Lie still.
Who contributes most to the camp fund?
What was that one?
Who contributes most to the camp block box? Who is the more skilled hunter? Who's getting that 3-star pelt? Who's got the better singing voice? Who's most likely to win a hand of poker?
Because he can cheat. I miss not being able to cheat. That was a great thing.
That was a good feature. Who has better style? Who's more stubborn? Who is Dutch's favorite? Who tells the best stories?
I don't know. Roger does, for sure.
And who is more likely to crack a joke to lighten him? Who's more likely to die of an infectious disease? This is crowdsourced. You can't hate me after that. Please give these guys a round of applause. I'm going to turn the floor over to audience questions. If you guys want to form a line right here, I'd be happy to come down there and meet you. Let's tell us your name. Where you're from.
Happy birthday to you.
My name's Caden. I'm from Rapid City, and I just have one question. Can I give Benjamin a birthday cake?
Wait, just give us 1 second.
My name is Caden, everyone. It's all very nice to meet all of you. I'm very nervous. I'm shaking real bad. And I was just wondering if I could give Benjamin a birthday present.
I'd be delighted. I'll take it here.
Hey, my name is Jared. I'm from New Jersey. So, Roger, I got a chance to see you in A Man for All Seasons last year. Incredible. Kind of in that vein, since I know there's a lot of skills that, doing theater you can bring over to screen, and screen you can bring over to doing theater, I'm curious as to whether there's anything from the performance capture medium that has informed other work that you've done in other media.
That's a cool question. So I love performance capture. It's fascinating to me. I think it's an awesome medium, and we're just seeing it more and more now. Like Planet of the Apes. Did anyone see Planet of the Apes? So that's kind of like what we did. And to answer your question, mocap is like a cross between theater and film, isn't it, guys? It's like theater in the round. So you've got a camera in your face, but a lot of the physicality and what have you is actually can be quite theatrical. And no two studios do it the same way, but very quickly on I learned that if it was an in-game animation, the cutscenes that we did were very cinematic, but all the in-game animations, that can tend to be a lot more theatrical, because the camera, for lack of a better word, is probably quite a wide shot, so you can afford to make things a little bigger. But at the same time, there's a face cam right in your face, so for facial stuff, you can afford to be much, much, much more subtle, more like film. But yeah, it's a fascinating question. Thanks for asking.
Okay, so my name is Meeya. It is not my birthday's in March. I'm from Colorado. I have got the opportunity to meet most of you from Tombstone, which was a long time ago. But I just want to say, I'm going to try to make this really short, but I don't know how to because I am nervous. I got into the game because of a college class at CU Boulder.
So awesome.
Yeah. It was, we had to play the game. Since then, I played it last year. Since then, the game has made such a big impact in my life that it led me to continue working on film and animation, which is where my major is. And it led me to make a Western animation, like mixed media animation, that won 2 awards at my college film festival. With my question, because really the one thing about the game that really meant a lot to me was Arthur, because I saw so much of myself in him, which sounds silly, but there's so much that I saw that made me really change how my perspective on myself is. So my question is, and this could be to everyone, if you don't have a question, that's okay. Or answer, yeah, sorry. What does Arthur mean to you?
I think what you're saying is beautiful. I think you should never hold back when identifying with something or a story, especially like, he's a guy, whatever, who cares, right? Like, I think everybody should watch something and go, I can take something from this. That's when you know something affects you. And the existential levels that this game can bring people to is pretty profound. And it's powerful. It's powerful for a reason. It's dark. It's not, we don't have some beautiful happy ending. And I think a lot of people resonate with that because it feels like you get to a plateau of something where you're like, I don't know how to feel about this, but then you work it out for yourself. And that's a lot to work through, and that's a lot to feel good about when you do. And I think that's probably part of maybe a tiny bit of the reason why people play the game multiple times, is because we're still searching for something. Like, I can go take a picture of the Taj Mahal 3-4 times and still not understand why everybody thinks it's beautiful. But finally, I'll go again and I'll get that picture and it'll make sense to me. You're talking about something on a higher level here, intellectually, and I think it's beautiful, and emotionally as well. And we're here for that, and you don't need to be nervous at all. We're all up here just loving you and everybody here, so yeah.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm from Missoula, Montana. My question was if you guys could play any other character in the game, specifically if it was a gender bend. So if like Arthur played Sadie or like whatever, who would you guys want to play?
That's a great question. I don't know if I have an answer. I'll pass it along to Mike, but that is just a really interesting question. Gentlemen?
Karen. Mrs. Jones. Me and Mrs. Jones.
I'd like to have played Lenny. I'd like to have played Lenny, and I really enjoyed his enthusiasm, his curiosity. What do I need to know? Where do I need to go next? I just loved working with him too. He was a great
I would like to play Micah because people hated me, but I think they hate him
even more. So I thought it would be fun to at least be liked for being hated.
Good to be the bad guy.
What people don't know is that maybe I play Gavin.
My name is Jeremy. I'm from Maricopa, Arizona. And what's it like to be part of the most influential game of this century?
Doesn't suck.
It's an unmitigated privilege. It's an absolute privilege. We get to do this stuff. Can you tell we adore each other? We really deeply adore each other. And, so I'm so glad that it has resonated globally, but that doesn't happen in my business. You don't get to be a part of one cast where you watch each other grow and have children and move through different parts of their life and get other movies and we all celebrate together. I mean, for me, that is the experience worth talking about. It's just incredible.
I don't like anyone.
But me.
I like you, fine. This much.
How much?
This much.
I knew it.
Hey, how's it going? Okay, so my name is Jenna, and I have come all the way from Dead Blighty, or the United Kingdom, England. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's great to be here. So I suppose this is an open question to all of you. Feel free to answer as you do. So my question is, when you were doing the performance capture, primarily during the scenes where the characters are talking to one another, did you have to act in the characters' voices as well, or did that come later on in the recording though? So Arthur, you've got your Irish American accent. Did you have to do Arthur's voice in action and then do that later, for example?
No, it was always Arthur. Yeah, I got Arthur. I remember I was working with a guy from Flagstaff, Arizona when I was auditioning for the role, and he would do an impression of his grandfather, and that was a lot of Arthur. That was like one of the biggest sources of influence. But no, yeah, and it's such an interesting question because so many studios I've learned now since do it differently, and a lot of the studios don't have the sound quality that we had, and they have to ADR it afterwards anyway. But Rockstar was unique in that because the acoustics in that they really pull no punches, you know.
Yeah.
And so no, yeah, we did it not that dissimilar to film. You know, we kept doing it until the director liked the take, and then take that, as Rod used to say, remember? Take that! And then the animator would come in and go, oh, hang on, his foot was 2 inches too far to the left, so we have to... But no, yeah, we legit, apart from looking ridiculous in spandex, we were, being as authentic in the scene as possible, and yeah, we were our characters, absolutely.
Wow,
yeah.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Starlin. I'm from Santa Clarita, California. My question I want to open to the women of the cast. I'm a costume designer. I'm studying right now. And something really scary about going in this field is being a feminine presenting person. How have you overcome this stigma and the intimidation of working as a woman in the industry, especially in such a male-dominated field? Especially in such a male-dominated field. Mckenna?
All right, I'll take this one. I think it's really interesting. When I approach work, I think it's so individual. Each project you get requires different parts of you, right? And when I started out, believe it or not, I was kind of a tomboy. And I wasn't very comfortable being sexy. And I wonder sometimes if a lot of the roles that I haven't gotten don't reflect that energy or essence, where, there's some of the sexiest women on this cast, they're gorgeous. Everyone's just incredible and so talented and have these beautiful shimmering essences, and I think that part of the hard work is getting comfortable with the things that are uncomfortable. And also learning how to advocate for yourself. So if you don't want to wear a bikini, then you have to talk to the person who's dressing you. And you have to talk to the director. And you need to know why you're doing it. Are you doing it because your character's uncomfortable doing it, or are you doing it because you're uncomfortable? And that's been a huge part of the learning and development, I think, being an artist. And so, congrats on knowing what you want to do and going after it. And I would say just do some work to know if it's a you issue or it's a project issue, you know? And then just relate to the people that you're dressing and empower them, and it'll also empower you.
Thank you so much. First of all, congratulations on moving forward with that, and I wish you all the courage. And I think the one thing that's so beautiful about the creative field is conveying your truth, so that if your work is true to you, there's something very resilient about that. You know, it's almost like you can't really touch it, so to speak. I don't know if that makes sense. It's very powerful, and you can't really go wrong with it. And it's only yours, and uniquely yours. So good luck. Thank you so much.
I'm just going to add to what the ladies have said. When we were doing mocap, we had these swimsuits on, but they were like, what do you call it? Like wetsuits. And we didn't have any makeup, right? So normally when you're on the set, you're doing something, you have a costume, you have a makeup artist, you have a hair and everything. But for this job, you had none of that. So you really had your own art, right? So if you have your confidence, your self-esteem, your passion in your art, as a woman, I think that's the most powerful thing we can have. And it's the things that we put on top of us that just are the cherries on top. But that was what I got from this, which was like, I look like a wet dog. And I have nothing on, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, what, right? But I have to show up and do my job and do my work. And I think that's what I took from it, which is like, I'm a badass, don't try it.
Hi, I'm Trace. I'm from Illinois. And my question is, I feel like Red Dead has a lot of very original characters, whether that be from Revolver or Red Dead 2. Are there any particular performances that any of you drew from to craft your character altogether?
Charlie Chaplin. I thought Buster Keaton of the old school guys, you know, the old school clowns, because of very physical. And to your point, it's very difficult when you're in that damn unitard. Everything's hanging out, and you got the deal. Sorry, when you're in the unitard, everything's like you're really vulnerable, right? I mean, it's not a comfortable place to be. So you really have to get into your imagination and think about, you know, what it's going to look like in the end, and you just have to create that. We had no control over what ultimately our characters were going to look like. So yeah, I drew from the old school clowns for me. I don't know about you guys.
I have a bunch of uncles in Ireland who are all lunatics and crazy, mad feckers all together from Dublin. And that's who I thought Sean was when I picked up the script. And one thing I will say is I thought Rockstar did a great job with the writing, because I do feel a lot of the time in an awful lot of media, especially with immigrant characters, there's a tendency to kind of play a certain type of a trope or a stereotype. And that was something I thought that Rockstar did a great job of actually giving us real people to kind of focus on, and they give us the time, the breadth, and plenty of space to kind of not just present another top of the morning, I'm a lucky charm, you know? And that's something that's actually, I've auditioned for that part loads of fucking times, and they keep hiring Americans. But I think that's something that was just very important for me, was to be able to be as, you know, give a proper account of what an Irish person is without a hint of the top of the morning, the garb bullshit. So, great question.
First off, thank you guys for being here and doing this for us. This is pretty cool, especially someone from the Midwest doesn't get to see much of anything other than trees. Thank you guys, truly. So as somebody who's also a creative, I'm a full-time videographer, photographer. Whenever you're in this kind of business, just when you think you've seen it all, know it all, learned it all, you'll be doing something and you'll learn something new, and most of the time you'll learn it the hard way. What was something when you were going through this whole process that you learned that was unique, different, something that you didn't think you would ever need to learn?
I learned 2 years into Red Dead 2 that Dutch, who I've been playing since 2009, was 6 inches shorter than me. Okay, well, the thing was for reaching for things, right? I couldn't reach. They had put the shit closer to me, pardon my French, so that it was scaled to my, I'm 6'6", he's 6 foot. Not something you think you're going to have to consider as an actor. Certainly that late in the game, but there were surprises like that often.
Particularly in this game, I was surprised that all of the women had to do everything in heeled boots, actual heels. So climbing, heels. Jumping off horses, heels. It was very surprising, given that they animate it. So that was cool. It made me feel very close to Ginger Rogers. Always doing everything backwards and in heels.
I talk with my hands a lot. I smack my camera every time.
I learned to turn your phone off.
How's it going, guys? My name is Sadie. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. And I want to start this off by saying, without each and every one of you sitting up there today, putting in your hard work and your dedication and bringing such an amazing story to life, none of us would be here to make core memories for the rest of our lives to remember this, so thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, my question is to the one and only original badass, Mr. Robert Bogue.
Yes.
With your phenomenal performance as Red Harlow, just such an amazing character, so much different than the other characters throughout the story. And feel free to answer as well if you guys want to. How do you feel Red Harlow's character would have changed the story of Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2 had you been a part of that Vanderland game? Thank you.
First of all, you look great, man. Yeah, you look real good. That's a great costume. How would I change them, or how would they change me?
How would the story change with Red being there through all the events of Red Dead?
Red's real cold. Red's real shut down. And I sense such a community. They all have their little tribes. And it'd be interesting to see which tribe Red slid into. Because he's such a loner, And I think in this universe, it'd be impossible for him to be that isolated all the time. So how would he affect him, I don't know, but it would be really interesting for him to be around this cast of characters. There's so much going on, and these characters are so vibrant and so multidimensional. And Red is just so traumatized. He's a lonely dude. If he ever ends up in a game later, it'll be in some cabin high in the mountains, and I don't know, living with a dog that died 3 years ago. But I don't know if I answered your question, but I sure appreciate your support and your love for all the games. And once again, kicking outfit, man.
Hello, my name's Dylan. I'm from Tarrytown, New York. So I have a kind of simple question. I'm sure you might have heard this before. All of the characters have really done something special to all of us in this audience. And I was wondering if you could be friends or just hang out with any of the characters in the game, who would it be and why?
I wouldn't mind meeting John Marston so I could tell him to calm the hell down. Relax, dude. Yeah, I think that that would be the first person I'd want to talk to, but it would be amazing to walk in and get to hang out with them. It would be scary, and it would be overwhelming, but it'd be a fun ride, I'm sure, whatever you got into.
My name's Sophia, and I'm from Elwood, Illinois, near Chicago. And this might seem like kind of like a dumb question, but since Red Dead is like a Western game, you obviously had to work with the horses, right? And so I was wondering if you guys had any like personal experiences with these horses, or if you had any horse experience in general before working with Red Dead.
Yeah. They had to go through a lot of horses with me. So when my first day on the job, we lost a couple of horses. My bad, guilty as charged. But there seemed to always be an endless supply of horses that Rockstar would no, I never worked with the horse actually. So maybe someone else should answer the question.
Oh my God, poor Sophia, you poor thing. Oh, no, you go, girl. There have been times when we have had live animals on set, and you heard about Einstein and a couple other dogs I think we had with the mocap balls on, but with the horses, we did not. We were mounting beautifully created steel structures of horses, and that was still very difficult. I mean, not nearly as bonding and beautiful as having an actual horse on set. But there have been other animals on set over the years, not just dogs. I think there was some other wild. Yeah, there was a bear. Yeah. There's a lot of details that came with that. Interesting. I'm not going to go into it, but you were not wrong to ask my question by any means. Yeah, Peter's just joking around.
Hi, my name is Tabitha. I'm from California, kind of near LA, kind of 2 hours from Tabitha. My question was going to be for Peter. How was it like working on Franco and Billy?
Oh, okay, so most people probably don't know that there was a comedy duo that I was a part of. Thanks for bringing that up. I haven't done anything with them for a long time, but my very good friend of mine, Jeff Weens, was my sort of comedy partner for a number of years. We would do these crazy sketch comedy shows at Upright Citizens Brigade in New York, and we'd always wear like spandex and little slinky things and dance around, and it was what?
We were prepping for this.
I was prepping for this with the spandex. Oddly, as it turns out, that guy that I would do these nonsensical shows with, Jeff Weens, ended up coming on board with Rockstar and doing some co-directorial work on the game, strangely. So I show up at work and there's my friend. We had already finished this comedy sketch thing, and now I've got to work with him again. And not only that, he's directing me. So it just burned. It burned bad. So thanks for bringing it up. No, I'm kidding. No, am I kidding? I don't know. Yeah, thank you for the question.
Hey there, my name's Ruben. I'm from Kansas City, and I've actually met Roger and Rob at Comic-Con in 2019, way back then, and I thankfully attended Tombstone. But my question, I want to say happy birthday, Meeya and Ben. Yes. But my question for Steve, I love Bill. I think the progress from Red Dead 1 from like a one-dimensional villain to such a complex character in Red Dead 2 it's phenomenal what they did. But my question was, I wanted to know what happened when, the last scene where there's a whole, they're standing off together. Bill and Javier ran off, and I was just wondering what happened. Like, what did they do?
That's a great question. I mean, I think that as also a gamer myself who've played and just think about it just for moments like this, it's like what really happened in all truth, if that's ever to be explored again, that's up to the writers at Rockstar first and foremost. But since we're here to have fun, if you want to like go into my headcanon, I would assume that they broke off and they had tension before, but I feel before they went their ways, they did either stay in touch or kind of make a pact that everything else went crazy. I feel, to me, maybe when they were in Guarma and Bill had to stay on the boat to watch Javier, even though they had their flame-ups and downs, mostly Bill's fault. Javier always at least tried to level with Bill, because he's like, why are you so angry? You know, but I think Javier had a bit of respect for Bill on certain levels. And I think that once that happened, Javier knew where Bill's faults were, but knew that he was so loyal to Dutch. So I was like, I'm certain you're at fault for many things, but I know you're not a rat. So I think there was kind of a trust there, and they spread, because eventually, when Fort Mercer gets invaded, Bill goes down to Mexico to get help. So there was still type of a connection. Now we can only imagine the specifics of how that went. And I think by leaving it vague or just whatever, it makes it more kind of drawing. It makes you really think. That's a great thing is, like at what point did Dutch go crazy? It's like everyone debates it. These are fun conversations.
Yeah.
So I would just think that something along like that happened. But when people ask as far as what drove Bill, and I've said this before, when Bill was generally in his way trying to, like, something's wrong here. I know I'm loyal and I'm not saying anything, but there's as Bill and Ted would say, there's something afoot at the Circle Head. Something's going right, and they're ended up, and the next thing you know, Bill is thinking, I think John's the rat, and there's a split, and the agents show up at Beaver Hollow, and stuff happens, and he goes off and do his thing, and the next thing he sees is John showing up 2 years later on behalf of these two agents. Yeah. In Bill's mind, he's thinking, shit, I was right the whole time. And it's kind of sad, but in his mind, he's thinking, I was right, and it ends up being a very tragic ending for the character. So it's very interesting to debate. It's like exactly what happened post Beaver Hollow, and I think it's just it makes you wonder. But either way, I still think it's wonderfully written.
Thank you so much.
My name is Leah, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. This is a pretty simple question, but out of everyone's opinions, whose character has the most embarrassing voice lines? Everyone.
Dialogue. Otherwise known as voice lines.
Oh yeah. Same thing.
The most embarrassing. Which of us had to say the most embarrassing thing?
Probably me and Mick.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun.
Like what? Just the whole, we were a couple that had the only amorous moment.
Yeah. There they are, the hills of the dirty thing. Here's a trick my dad taught me.
It's gonna cost a lot for a reenactment, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Does that suffice though? Do you think that, because anybody else feel like they've done something embarrassing? I feel like that's the only time when we've gotten asked questions.
I found it embarrassing that everyone pronounced Colin wrong.
Hi, I'm Meeya too, and I'm
Michigan.
Hi,
My question is, if Arthur hadn't died, what do you think would have happened?
If Arthur hadn't died, yeah. I've thought about that from time to time. Wouldn't be as much of a tragedy if it didn't happen, you know? And, I often think that sometimes it's the death sentence that he gets that is what actually shifts his perspective on life. And without that, he might have carried on being, an outlaw, and he might not have second-guessed himself and his choices and the way that his actions affect people, So if it hadn't been for the TB diagnosis, I'm not sure Arthur would have evolved as much as he did in the end. I don't know because Red Dead, both of them, they're tragedies by definition, and if he had survived, I don't know if it would have obeyed that genre as much, But, if he had the happy ending that some of us wish for, I probably would have ended up in Tahiti, farming mangoes,